There are a lot of mysteries in the world of paleontology, and a lot of questions that are still unanswered. Like, what is the size limit for sauropods? Is there a dromaeosaurid bigger than Utah raptor? Why is paleontology so hard to study in Kansas? But one major question that people have had is also a heavily debated one in paleontology. The question is, what dinosaurs can swim? Well, believe it or not, there are numerous dinosaurs that are believed to have been able to swim. This is a Eustreptospondylus, and their remains have been found covered in fossilized mussels, likely as they died out to sea hopping between the islands of the European archipelago. This is an Austroraptor, and it's one of the largest dromaeosaurids to ever live. They're also theorized to feed on fish, wading and possibly swimming in bodies of fresh water. There's even a small dromaeosaurid called Natovenator with streamlined anatomical features similar to ducks and penguins. While these dinosaurs are strongly believed to swim, this just raises another question. What other prehistoric animals can swim? Well, really any prehistoric vertebrate. Dimetrodon? Yeah, they can swim. Pterosaurs? Absolutely. What about prehistoric elephants? Yep. In fact, a theory behind how Sicilian dwarf elephants got to Sicily and Malta is because they could have swam there. There's even a genus of ground sloth called Thalassocnus that foraged along the coastal ocean floor due to the barren desert land that they live near. And with so many animals that can swim, it probably shouldn't be a stretch to say that dinosaurs can swim too. After all, 71% of our planet is covered in water, and inevitably, animals have to come in contact with it, whether to drink, to find food, to cool down, or to cross bodies of it for whatever reason. Now, when I say that a dinosaur can swim, I'm not trying to imply that those that can live a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Elephants have been seen out in the open ocean, but they can only survive on land. The same is true for dinosaurs. But one thing that helps dinosaurs swim is actually found in their skeletons. Most dinosaurs have hollow, air-filled bones, which was an evolutionary advantage to help them achieve large sizes. Not all dinosaurs have this feature, of course, but this hollow bone system basically gives dinosaurs a sort of inbuilt life jacket. And this hollow bone system could have allowed for the biggest animals on Earth to take the plunge. Sauropods are infamous for two things, being the largest land animals to ever live, and for being the bane of paleontologists because the hollow bones of sauropods have a hard time fossilizing. But not only do sauropods have the best way to keep their heads above water, the air sacs in their bones could help them travel across deep rivers, and maybe even small stretches of ocean. In fact, the ancestors of sauropods from Hatzeg Island, such as Magyarosaurus, were theorized to have swam to the island before it was entirely separated from the mainland. There's even some fossilized footprints found in Texas that seem to have ripple marks and mud cracks. While there is no definitive conclusion to this evidence, the idea of sauropod swimming is not entirely impossible. While seeing a sauropod swimming is definitely a strange sight, you'd probably get a heart attack if you ever saw a Tyrannosaurus out in the ocean. Well, like sauropods, large theropods had air-filled bones. They also had powerful hind limbs that could allow them to propel themselves through the water. And considering that Tyrannosaurus lived near the western interior seaway, it's not a stretch to believe that they would occasionally take a dip in the ocean. So basically, there wasn't a single place on Earth you could hide from Tyrannosaurus Rex. So as you can see, there are quite a few dinosaurs that can swim, and there are a lot more that probably do too. Most ornithomimids and oviraptorids have a similar body plan to ratites like ostriches, and considering most ratites can swim, it's safe to assume that these guys can too. There's even a large species of ornithomimid known as Dinochirus that is even confirmed to be semi-aquatic. And while there is evidence that stegosaurids can swim, it seems as though ankylosaurids and notosaurids struggle, but they can still cross bodies of shallow water. Dromaeosaurids like Velociraptor and Deinonychus also seem like they can swim, and some members of the family like Unenlagians are even believed to be semi-aquatic. But like modern animals, there were likely some dinosaurs that couldn't swim, or at the very least lack evidence for it. Therizinosaurids have robust, heavy builds adapted to their terrestrial lifestyles, and while likely able to wade in shallow water, they probably couldn't swim in anything too deep. Chasmosaurine ceratopsians like Triceratops seem as though they can swim, but their centrosaurine cousins struggle, and mass bone beds of Pachyrhinosaurus and Centrosaurus itself show that they can be in trouble if the water gets too rough. Iguanodontians also seem to avoid swimming, but other ornithopods like Hadrosaurids seem as though they can swim rather well. The question on which dinosaurs can swim or not is rather complicated, and it's only going to get worse from here. Because the number one most controversial paleontological discussion is whether or not Spinosaurus was semi-aquatic. Over the past decade, this debate has raged on, with paleontologists flipping between Spinosaurus being either semi-aquatic like a penguin, or being a wading predator like a heron. Personally, I don't want to say anything because we don't know for sure, and now it seems like a casual stroll across a minefield to talk about it. However, I do want to talk about one dinosaur that has been strongly believed to have a semi-aquatic lifestyle. This is Lotosaurus, and it's an iguanodontian ornithopod from Western Africa. This beefy giant has a body plan similar to that of the modern-day hippopotamus, and this has led scientists to theorize that Lotosaurus shared a similar lifestyle. And for everyone's sake, let's hope that only applies to their swimming habits. But there could be a legit reason why Lotosaurus spent most of its time in water. Iguanodontians are famous for their robust forelimbs and large thumb spikes that they used for defense. Lotosaurus, on the other hand, had stumpy limbs and a blunt thumb spike, and because of their weight, they were fully quadrupedal and couldn't rear up on their hind limbs. So in this situation, being semi-aquatic when terrestrial predators like Eocarcharia and Cryptops were around was the real only defense these giants ever had. It's really no different from a water buffalo fleeing into a river because of a tiger. The main takeaway from this video? Most dinosaurs can swim, very few cannot, and Spinosaurus gets all the hate mail while Lotosaurus gets away scot-free for the same crime. But that is the end of the line for this video. Honestly, this was probably the most speculative video I have ever made, so I want to hear what you guys think. What dinosaurs do you think can swim and cannot swim? I hope you guys have a good Easter, and tune in next time when I draw an animal, probably from this video. I don't know which one yet, but it's probably going to be a Lotosaurus. Well, that's it for now. See you around.